Hi everybody, Adam from REH. I haven't done any more hints and tips for the last probably 3 or 4 weeks. Just been super busy. Had a bit of time off with the family, but I've got one here for you. And it's with regards to tab shots and tabbying round IOs, obviously just a T, going up inlets that are on, say, boundary shafts or boundary shafts. So you've got a 6-inch inlet or a 4-inch inlet. And basically it's about guide. It's how do we manage to get it up? So we've got the guided inversion. Let's turn that down. We've got the guided inversion, which obviously pulls it out, spits it out, but we don't always want to do that. We can just use, it's a trick I got shown from the Time to Reline boys. I hope they don't mind me sharing it, but I'm gonna. It's the dog's tongue, and basically here it is. So I'll get a bit closer, but essentially all we're doing is, say we're doing a 4-inch inlet, say it's a 4-inch IO. It's simply a case of you invert your liner to the right point where you've measured it, and you invert it over ground, right? And then all you do, once you get to here, you can see my glued joint. This bit here is 100 mil. So all you do, you fold it like so. You can do it this way and then fold it back, or I like to do it this way. I fold it 100 mil there and then down. So you've obviously got your mark for your finished floor level or your top of your BTS. And then this here is a dog's tongue, because when you hold it like that, there's no need to put a band on it, I don't find. You put it in the pipe and then it's got that potential energy to flick out. And we're going to use that to our advantage. Now, say you've got a 100 mil pipe, obviously comes down the shaft, then you've got a 100 mil opening. That dog's tongue can't be any more than, say, 90, because it has to fall. Okay? So all you do, invert. You fold it, your 90 mil. You bend it like that. You put oil down your shaft, and then it's simply a case of, say that's the bottom and we're going this way. You've got your camera here. You slide it down, and then as soon as it, because that's only 90 mil, you let go, your point of inversion would be going that direction. Now, the only danger is that when we start to inflate, it can sometimes push back, right? All you simply do is you get maybe a gully scoop or even just a third of a pipe. You slip it down. You could get a bit of 40 mil here and you just push it. And then when it starts to invert, it's going to bite here and then hit the back of this, and then it's going to go that direction. Now, the beauty of this is, as opposed to using a shoe, is you're making the most of that 100 mil pipe. Because tabbies, you're trying to get a lot of gear through anyway. You're trying to get the cali through. You're trying to get the liner through. When you put it in one of those pre-bought fabricated shoes, if you actually measure it, you're going down to like 90 mil, and they are absolutely, really make tabbies quite hard. There's no need for them. You can just use the dog's tongue technique, or I'll show you I'll explain a few other techniques. But the dog's tongue is super, once you get your head around it, pretty easy to do. Keynotes are: oil your shaft, make sure that your measurements are good and you're marked. When you fold that back, it's no more than the diameter of the pipe, otherwise it's going to hit and it's not going to flop. Nice and neat. Clear your tongue. Nice and controlled. Make sure when you put it in that dog's tongue is orientated in the correct manner. So it's going that way, comes to the bottom, boom, and you push it up. Maximizing the size of the pipe. Then you can also get your glued joint as close to it with no danger of relining your shoe in. Top technique, dog's tongue, try it. If you do it on an inlet that is, say, on a shaft, fabricate a bit of plastic pipe to caress, to cradle the bottom, because when it inverts, it might want to go down. So you want to hold the bottom, and it's critical to have camera point of inversion access to make sure it's there. But solid technique. And I'll move on and show you a few more other things you can do without spending a fortune on those costly shoes that I think make the job harder. So, making your own homemade shoe. Very simple. You get, say this is a 4-inch one. We're going to use a 4-inch elbow and 4-inch pipe. All you do is glue that into that, heaps of glue, stick it in, and you let it set for a good hour, right? Let it go off, lots of glue. And then now, what we do, we'll get a tape measure. Oh, no, that. We're only concerned with this curve. We don't want that or any of this. The only thing that is going to actually act on our point of inversion is this curve. Having this other side actually hinders it because you're making the pipe smaller, and also means that it can't be brought out in the case of emergency because you've lined through it. And it also means that you've got to at least put your tab a little bit further away because you'll probably line your shoe in. This will make your tabbies going easier and give you more flexibility, and you can make them to suit, okay? And they're super cheap. So you glue it in, right? And then I'll show you with a pen and the tape measure. So we're looking here, that's about 80 mil. So 80 mil, if I find my pen again, 80 mil is around here. So we've already got most of this curve, yeah? So we cut out, comes like that. It comes around. And then back round here. And then we go there. Done. So, very crude, but as long as it's less than half of the pipe, comes down, you cut it all out, you go round, then back round, and you'll be left with that glued to that. Now, it's probably not strong enough. So what you can do is maybe rivet it, some nice, smooth, flat rivets, or tet screw from the inside out and then chop them off. And you get some fast set resin silicate, paint it, goes off super quick, and then it's actually really quite strong then. So you've got the important bit, which is the curve. You can make it to suit, make it on site straight away. And just like with the fabricated shoes, you don't want this on the bottom. You can just want it a little bit up, probably about 100 mil, because then it's got room, the tab has got room to go into it. If it's right on the bottom, it'll hit the bottom of the pipe and might bottom out. You want it about that much higher. So you chamfer it all off, you rivet it, you glue it, you paint it with your resin, and you've got a 10 times better shoe than you can buy the stainless steel ones. And you can then reline right up to the open face with no danger of getting it in. And you can also flick it. You can do what you want to do. Super cheap, super simple, and much better than the bought ones. Love your lining. I do. Adam from REH. Yeah, so I hope that tip helped you with the homemade shoes. It'll save you money and make your life easier. This is a scenario that we could have used a homemade shoe or the dog's tongue technique. 6-inch riser with a 4-inch inlet. The shot's roughly about 11 meters upstream. But we chose not to do that because I'll go through with it now. About a meter deep to the inlet, Snuffy 350. And then it goes for 5 meters horizontally that way, all 4-inch. And then what it does around there, under that driveway, it does 45 up, 45. And it goes for another 3 meters. And we've got the dreaded 90, 90. Close proximity on the vertical. And then we go a little bit further, even more. And then if my cameraman's any good, we've got a stack over there and we've finished it another 90 and gone up the vertical, getting that purge point super high. And that's why we couldn't go with just like a dog's tongue technique. We've had to use a guided inversion, and that's took a bit of the stress off that point of inversion. And we've got it sealed, tabby, up the inlet, 45, 45, 90, 90, 90. And we've got a great result. We're going to clean that up, get the cap back on. Love your lining. If you need any help with those shoes, give me a call, 0401 276 433. Love your lining. I do, Adam from REH.